What's going on, guys? I'm your host, Jay, and you're watching From Inside Out. Thank you guys so much for joining this episode right here on this podcast called From Inside Out. Man, if you guys seen the introduction and also the title description of this video, I got an interesting podcast for you guys tonight. And it's quite interesting in its such because, again, yes, social media, well, especially your news outlets, all your major news outlets have picked this up. When the event took place, and all of that. And a lot of you know what event I'm talking about. Here recently, we ended up having a tragic event in a state called Tennessee at a private Christian school, of all places. And we have some victims. Some little kids lost their life, and including some teachers. A lot of sad situation came out of that event, and we're going to dive deep into that situation, that tragic event, if you will, that happened in Tennessee. And I got, look, man, a lot of you are probably going to get in the comment section and say, why are you glorifying this? I'm not glorifying anything. I want you guys to know I'm doing this strictly from a, trying to figure out what caused this in the first place. Like, science-wise and mental-wise and everything else. Because our crime, if you've been paying attention lately, our crime has picked up a lot. Okay, there's a major uptick in a lot of different kind of crime right now. But for tonight's show, for tonight's podcast, we're going to dig into the case itself, why it happened, and all of that. So bear with me. A little message to pass down to all of you. I was supposed to have my co-host Jay Lee, the founder and owner from Inside Out, to join the show tonight. But due to major technical issues in her prison where she's at, every single tablet that people have in that prison there crashed. The whole system crashed. So she's not able to make phone calls, emails, messages, anything. So that's why she can't be on the show tonight, but she does send her regards and her messages. Thanks for thinking about her. And hopefully she'll be on the show in the near future. So thanks for your guys' continued support by showing your support, love, and respect for my colleague, Jay Lee, the owner and founder from Inside Out. So let's go ahead and get into the topic for tonight, ladies and gentlemen. And as you guys know, well, I just had it up. I lost it. I don't know why I did that. But as you guys can see on your screen, let me get over here so you guys can see me better. This is my YouTube channel, all right? And you guys can see it, Prison Podcast Show From Inside Out. If you're new here and you haven't heard about me or you haven't followed me at all, and you like this type of content, well, then what you need to do before we even start with this podcast, you need to make sure you're subbed to my channel and make sure you turn that notification bell on. That way, when it's on, you get notified on your device, whatever it may be, that I'm going live or uploading a new video right here on this channel. While you're doing all that, make sure you go down there and hit and smash that like button and a few other things and a few other steps. That way it also helps out the channel, and that way you guys can also share this information with others that might be needing this information. All right, so this is my channel. There I am. You guys seen this event that you see on your screen here. And I'm going to go ahead and put this up on a full screen. You will not be seeing me anymore for the duration of this podcast, but you can still hear me. So here's the event, and I'm going to go ahead and make this full screen so everybody can see it. As you guys can see, we're dealing with a tragic event. This is the memorial out there on the scene. I'm going to play this video, and then we're going to touch base on all of the information in this, so you guys can understand all of what's going on here. Details matter in all types of information. So put your comments, your concerns, your questions, whatever you may have in the comment section down below. And I will do my best to answer them. So let's go ahead and get into the video. And again, all credit goes to the, excuse me, I got to find out again. All credit for this video right here. Law and Crime. This is not my video. I'm not taking any of the credit for this video, just for all you know. Law and Crime Network. Okay? Go over there and subscribe to their channel and let them know that From Inside Out sent you. All right? So, again, Law and Crime is the people that put this content together. All right? So, let's go ahead and show you that right here, right now, in its entirety. And then we'll go ahead and touch base on this. And I want to hear your guys' opinions on this. What made this shooter, this transgender of all things, do what she did? Let's go ahead and play the video, and we'll go ahead and talk more about it after the video's over.
Terrified, mourning, shock.
The city of Nashville and the nation coming to terms with the heartbreaking news of another mass school shooting.
This is body cam footage that you're seeing right now.
Rifle first. Rifle first. Blue, go. Go, 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 go. Go. Move. Move.
Very sad situation, ladies and gentlemen.
In the days following the tragedy, investigators are piecing together what happened and what led up to the massacre.
They're all locked down, but we have 2 kids that we don't know where they are.
Okay.
Among the 6
These are the, I'm going to pause this real quick. These are the victims that you're seeing on your screen that lost their lives in this event in Tennessee. This little boy here, this little girl here, and this little girl, and these adults here. I'm assuming they're most likely were teachers or some type of staff working at this Christian private school. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want you all to understand what you're seeing on your screen here is a very sad, sobering moment. You know, and my thoughts and prayers with all of us here from Inside Out go to these families, these victims. The bigger question I ask all the time when we do these type of podcasts is, when's enough enough? What's the reasoning and point, ladies and gentlemen, behind senseless crimes? Why does this stuff happen in the first place? Well, hopefully tonight for this podcast, we're going to break down all the juicy details, if you will, on this and figure out what caused this. So stay tuned. Here's some more of that video.
House, Hallie Scruggs and William Kinney. 60-year-old Catherine Kuntz was also shot and killed, as well as 61-year-old Cynthia Peak and Mike Hill.
Very sad.
Let's go! Metro Police!
We now know the shooter is identified.
This
as
is the
28-year-old
shooter. Take a good look at her. I'm going to be respectful as much as I can for the remaining of this podcast, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm going to show you and let you all know right here, right now, that this is the shooter. Okay? She's a transgender. She used to be, according to the information and other intel, this person you're seeing on your screen here used to go to this school. She was a classmate at one time at this Christian school. So what made her lose her mind, snap, if you will, and pick up a assault rifle and kill innocent people? Something triggered her to do this event. More on that later. Here's the rest of the video.
Audrey Elizabeth Hale. Initially, investigators announced the mass shooter as a woman who is now being classified as a transgender man. Born a female, Hale's LinkedIn profile noted the use of he/him pronouns. Other social media indicated Hale went by the name Aiden rather than Audrey. Hale was shot and killed by police during the attack.
It's upstairs. It sounds like it's upstairs.
At about 10:13 a.m. on March 27th, the first call came in for the shooting at the Covenant School Nashville Private Christian School. Security camera video released by the Metropolitan Nashville Police Department shows the shooter arrive at the school at about 9:53 a.m. Minutes later, at 9:57 a.m., the shooter sends some messages.
I apologize for the commercials, guys. Again, this is YouTube. This is how they make their money. So I do apologize on the commercials. I can't control that.
Patton, a former basketball teammate. Patton says she had not kept in contact with the shooter since they played together back in middle school. The shooter's messages read in part, quote, "You'll probably hear about me on the news after I die. This is my last goodbye. And one day this will make more sense.
Wow.
I've left behind more than enough evidence behind, but something bad is about to happen."
I'm going to pause that right there, and I want you guys to pay attention to these text or this messaging here on your screen. So her mindset, ladies and gentlemen, has pretty much already been set. Again, I'll say that again. Her mindset is already set. Now, what's her age, if you're asking? 28. You'll hear about her age here if they already did it in this video. 28 years old. Now, you guys have all heard me speak on the human brain and the maturity level and all that when it comes to the human brain. I spoke on facts that are backed up by scientific data that the human brain is not fully developed until age of 25. This person was 28. So a lot of you are probably going to be asking now, what's the real excuse? That's a good question. And I'm not going to make any excuses. I'm not going to make any assumptions. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to show you the evidence, the facts of what we got right now. I will not be hyping this up. I will not glorify this. I don't condone this. I don't think what she did was cool in any way, shape, or form. This is strictly an educational video, if you will, to educate the masses on why this stuff happens in the first place so we can nip it in the butt before it even starts. It's like pretty much you can see right there, she was already on a suicide mission. You can see in these texts that she's depressed. So maybe she's suffering from some type of depression. She's also suffering from, obviously, anger. Something, ladies and gentlemen, something triggered her. And again, this is all mental. This is not normal activity. Let's go ahead and continue some more of the video.
At 10:10 a.m., the shooter opens fire at the school, shattering glass on a set of double doors. After that, Hale crawls through the openings and enters the school. Multiple angles of security footage show the shooter walking around the school, pointing their weapon. Investigators say Hale was armed
She was ready to
with
die.
rifles, a handgun, and significant ammunition.
Right here. It's locked. Go.
Less than 15 minutes later, at 10:13 a.m., the shooter was killed when officers Michael Colazzo and Rex Engelbert opened fire.
Go.
A later search of the shooter's vehicle led to the discovery of a manifesto. Police also say Hale created detailed maps of the school highlighting possible entry points. Nashville officials say the shooter also conducted surveillance on the school before the shooting. They've since confirmed Hale was once a student at the school.
Somehow school shootings, not always, but often somebody had an experience at that school. They went to that school, they had worked at that school, they had a relative. So when you hear school shootings, you think there's some connection. It's such a emotionally charged time in people's lives. I mean, forget shootings, just in general. People have such emotionally charged reactions to school and history and frustration and growth and learning and all those things. And so I'm not surprised that this person had a connection to the school.
Dr. Jonathan Metzl, the director of the Department of Medicine, Health, and Society at Vanderbilt University, was only about 15 minutes away from the shooting when it unfolded.
It's literally just right up the street from us, and many of the victims were brought to our hospital here yesterday.
An expert on mass shootings, Metzl was working on his own book about the gruesome topic when news broke of the Covenant School shooting. He says it hits too close to home.
Even though I study this and I feel like I'm in some ways an expert in it, it doesn't really prepare you in a way for just the emotional response of what a day like yesterday feels like. A lot of our colleagues live in that area, had sent their kids to that school. Or
Very sad situation, ladies and gentlemen.
And really, parents are having a hard time dropping their kids off at school this morning. They don't know what to say to their kids. People are afraid just going to the grocery store, or somebody told me they didn't fill up their car this morning with gas because they didn't know if it was safe to go to the gas station. So the level of just fear about everyday interactions, this is kind of how terrorism works when you think about it. People feel terrified in places that should be safe in their everyday life.
I want you guys to understand, again, I apologize for pausing this so much, but I want you guys to understand where I'm coming from on this. Back in my day when we went to school, I didn't have to worry about any of this. Back when you went to school, some of you probably didn't have to worry about this. Nowadays, ladies and gentlemen, we can't even take our kids to school without worrying if they're going to be okay for the remaining of the day. The kids can't even feel safe going to school anymore. And this is one factor, ladies and gentlemen, why I personally do not put my kids in any kind of school. I'd rather keep them home and do homeschool. This is the trying, changing times in our life now. You can't go to school and be safe anymore. That's the reality. Sorry to say, but the reality is, again, you cannot even go to school to study, to learn, without worrying if you're going to even make it home. That's where we're at with it, ladies and gentlemen.
But this shooting proved somewhat unique compared to others Metzl has researched, in that school children were among the victims.
We've had multiple victim homicides already this year.
Again, ladies and gentlemen, I do apologize for the commercials. This is how they make their money.
You're not ready for it.
Kids getting shot, but there's something about a gun person entering a school and killing 9-year-olds that just is almost another level of fear.
Metzl says mass shootings, like any form of terrorism, are unpredictable.
This is somebody who nobody had really heard of before yesterday, and so you're really grasping at any kind of expression because it's such a human need to think, like, why would somebody kill innocent people?
That's
This
is, I believe, the shooter, what you're looking at right here. There's the name. Look at this face. Look at the name. Right there. She's transgender. Very sad, ladies and gentlemen.
to understand that. And so I think any kind of utterance or expression, writings, artwork by that person is going to give us insight into that. But I also think I can tell you from studying this for a long time that it's just never enough. Like, we never get the full answer of why somebody would do this, stressor in that person's life.
Forensic psychologist Dr. John Delatorre says the shooter may have felt violence was the only answer.
Only way to do so is to get this message that they, whatever that is, usually you find it in screeds and manifestos and stuff like that. But get this message across, and the only way to do that is to make some kind of demonstration, and typically it's violence. And violence against a workplace, violence against a school, violence against families. Just violence is the only way that they believe people will listen to what they have to say.
While a manifesto could provide some answers, Metzl says not everything about the tragedy can be explained.
Manifestos often give us an insight into their own psychopathology a lot of times. But then, of course, those manifestos are not free of the politics of race and gender and guns in America. And so then they're interpreted through those lenses.
But that doesn't mean some aren't searching for answers. After the shooter's identity was revealed, information from Hale's social media pages circulated online showing a passion for art. Some pointed out that the shooter had previously created children's artwork, but also
Interesting.
darker images like that of Jack Torrance from The Shining. But according to Delatorre, the shooter's artwork isn't necessarily a red flag.
And we can't read too much into what they were doing, but we can certainly look at the style in which it's being done, how forceful the lines, that are being drawn are, the sort of content of it. We can absolutely kind of take a look at what might this person have been experiencing, what is going on in the world around them that may have triggered wanting to do this piece of art. There a lot of the inner turmoil that a person would be experiencing has to come out somewhere. It has to come out somehow. And usually through the art. And so we can absolutely see sort of the progression of what the person was experiencing through the art that was being demonstrated.
Many questions still remain about the shooter's gender identity and whether being a trans man could have led to the mass shooting.
This individual might have seen that certain laws were being put in place that further disenfranchised this individual and individuals like this person. So instead, they chose a target that was seemingly symbolic of the laws and policies and cultural zeitgeist and other kinds of things that they felt comfortable, quote unquote, comfortable using that as a target because they knew it. But it may actually symbolize a larger issue at play.
Just weeks ago, Tennessee's governor signed a bill into law banning gender-affirming care for minors and drag shows in public or in front of children.
I think that the danger is going to be of this shooting happening at this time, that it ties into, it's just a very charged moment right now for gender and trans issues in Tennessee. There's a lot of anti-drag show legislation and anti-gender affirming care legislation. It's just a really charged moment. And so the confluence of all these things, I mean, it's probably not happenstance that it happened now. I have no idea. But I would say that you just couldn't pick a more volatile mix of things.
Metzel says the idea of a trans mass shooter could lead into negative stereotypes, like the fictional Buffalo Bill character in The Silence of the Lambs. But according to his research, there is little data on trans mass killers.
I certainly think as an aggregate group, I don't have any data right now, but I would say there are probably many more heterosexual mass shooters. I don't think that people who are trans are more risky than anybody else of committing mass shootings. But I think, again, the issue of that issue linked to this shooting is certainly something we should look at very, very directly, because I think we want to know what happened and how can we prevent this.
Delatorre says people who don't conform to traditional standards could incorrectly be seen as more harmful.
Individuals who seem to deviate from what is considered to be traditional roles, traditional outlooks, traditional whatever. Any individual that deviates from that is otherized, right? So they're always going to be viewed as much more dangerous than what they actually are. Much more gaslighting, much more manipulative, much more coercive. They're much more negative than the reality of the situation.
He says it's possible the shooter's gender identity may not have played that large of a role in the shooting.
Regardless of biological sex, regardless of gender identity, individuals who are willing to commit these kinds of mass violence are often disenfranchised, often feel isolated, are often disconnected from other people. They often feel as though life is terrible and the world is a dangerous place. And so it starts with an internal sort of disgust. They don't like who they are, and they're willing to engage in self-harm behaviors, or at least willing to consider engaging in self-harm behaviors. But for whatever reason, that stops and it externalizes. It turns away from the person feeling that the world is out to get them, and more to the feeling that they need to set right a world that has gone wrong around them.
The reason behind the mass shooting can vary greatly on a case-by-case basis.
Each individual has this sort of reasoning behind and rationale behind why they think what they're going to do, number one, is going to work. And number two is the sort of actual valid reason to engage in this behavior. That's individualized. But there is a pathway to violence that includes societal pressures, internal turmoil, individuals who are not able to cope with the negative aspects of living life, grievance gathering, right? So individuals who are unwilling to kind of let go of even the smallest perceived slights.
For Metzel, the shooting hits too close to home, both in his line of study and location. He says such a polarizing topic should be treated delicately.
So I just had a colleague, and her 10-year-old daughter said, "Is it safe for me to go to school?" And she said, "I hope so, but I don't know. Let's talk about it." She wasn't trying to like fake it, and I thought that was a nice approach to say, look, there are scary people out there, and we do the best we can to protect you. But I just think there's a level of honesty between parents and children right now that is super important, because the scariest thing is we don't have the answers, and grown-ups are doing their best. Nobody wants this to happen on any side, but it's a moment to just keep talking and keep processing and showing lots of love and support.
Right now, officials are still in the early stages of the investigation. Law and Crime Network will continue to follow all the developments in the Nashville mass school shooting and bring you the latest developments as they unfold. Reporting for Law and Crime Network, I'm Sierra Gillespie.
And ladies and gentlemen, there you go. There's a report that I wanted to share with you guys with this event. You know, and this is where we're at with it, guys. I don't know how else to, you know, I don't know how else to explain this to you guys. I mean, it's a very sad situation in itself. You saw right there in its entirety what is going on, what they all think or may think. More proof in the pudding that these crimes are constantly happening, and what leaves us with a big gaping hole is the why. Why? Why did it happen? What caused it in the first place? All these questions can't be answered. So, ladies and gentlemen, what's your take on this? I want to hear your guys' input, your thoughts, your concerns. Because, again, this is not just my podcast, ladies and gentlemen. It's yours too as well. Make no mistake about it. We, as American individuals here in the United States, in a sense, are really getting sick and tired of hearing all of these news stories. You know what I mean? Getting sick and tired of, you know, talking about this. Every time you turn on your TV, this is what's going on. Every time you, if some of you still do, open up a newspaper, this is going on. Every time you pick up your cell phone device or any other device that gets internet, you see this. And again, ladies and gentlemen, what is the point? I wish I could sit here and say, oh, this is just made up, fabricated bullshit. This ain't real. This is all fake news. Unfortunately, that's not fake. When people die in the hands of somebody that don't know what the hell they're doing or why they're doing it, then you get, you know, like I said, ladies and gentlemen, then you get the gun activists involved. Ban the guns, let's get rid of guns, blah, 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 blah. Well, make no mistake about it, and I said it before, and not a lot of people like what I say, but it isn't the gun that kill people. People kill people. I know that's a hard pill to swallow for some of you out there. But if you look at the scientific aspect of a gun, ladies and gentlemen, the trigger can't get pulled by itself. Fact. The gun can't go off on itself. The gun can't magically jump into your hand and start shooting it. The person behind the gun causes the damage. And if you guys can't realize that, then there's something wrong with you. This is where we're at. This is the times we live in now, unfortunately. And until we come to some kind of conclusion or realization or something that will bring change, not just to our prisons and our jails and our system as a whole, but everything that's happening out here too as well. All these mass school shootings. It's getting ridiculous. Not just mass school shootings. We have cops running amok and being corrupt and doing things that they shouldn't be doing. What's going on? No one can seem to, for whatever reason, answer those tough questions. And ladies and gentlemen, you can see firsthand right there, like I said, right there. Nashville school shooting leaves 6 innocent victims dead. 6. Now, again, that's not a lot of people dying in one event. But let's look past the number. It doesn't matter if it's 6. It could be any number. 1's enough. How about none? You know, the fact of the matter is something triggered this transgender individual to do what she did. And I'm curious to see your guys' answers if you think you know why. People just don't, ladies and gentlemen, you're not just born to become a mass shooter. Something has to make you think about this before you go out and do it. What are you doing? Why are you doing it? What's causing it? Let's talk. Wait a minute. Don't do that. You know that's wrong. That's what we deal with on a daily basis. And again, these are all good questions that a lot of people can't answer. And it's to the point where it's like almost like a broken record. You go to bed. I go to bed tonight. I bet you anything tomorrow there'll be some tragic event all over the news. Day after day, week after week, month after month, something happens. Innocent people lose their lives every day. I don't know. I don't know, folks. I just don't know. So, again, I want to give a major shout out to these people here, Law Crime Network. I appreciate you guys putting all the hard work and whatnot you guys do in your guys' videos. For the record, for this video, I know a lot of you guys are sitting there saying, well, he's not even subbed to his channel or to their channel. I did that for a purpose and a reason for this video, just to show you that I'm going to right now for this video to even show more respect to these people, that I'm going to sub to their channel. There you go. And that's what you guys need to do with my channel. And also go over there and hit that all button right there. That way they get notified too now. Same thing, you'll get notified when you watch my videos. And we're going to go here and like the video. That's simple. You can do that same thing with my channel, ladies and gentlemen. So, folks, we got to do better. We got to do better. We got to do better. I don't know how more I can express or talk to you guys about this. I know somewhere deep down inside all of your guys' souls, you're pissed. You can't tell me you're not pissed off. I'm pissed off. I'm sick and tired of dealing with it. And the only way it's ever going to get better, ladies and gentlemen, is that we nip it in the butt, figure it out before it starts. You saw the messages. She was already fucking texting people, letting people know, hey, this is what's up, this is where I'm going, you're never going to see me again. All the signs were there prior to the shooting. Hello? and no one did anything that I know of. Why didn't somebody that had a hint or knew, if somebody knew that she was showing all the signs that she didn't care anymore, why didn't somebody fucking intervene? Excuse my French. I know, it's all easier said than done, right, ladies and gentlemen? All easier said than done. But in the meantime, we lost 6 innocent lives. I'm just done. I'm burnt out with it, ladies and gentlemen, and I know all of you are too as well. I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast when it comes to this scenario. Again, all credit goes to Law of Crime. They did a wonderful job putting that together. Again, if you're not subbed to my channel and you want to see more of this type of content and you want to support me and help me out and grow this channel, do what I ask you guys to do. Please go over there and hit the sub, like, comment, and share. All those things help my channel out. I do apologize for my colleague and founder and owner from Inside Out, my sister Jaylee, not be able to be here tonight. Technical issues with their prison and their tablets. Their whole entire system crashed. So that's why she's not here tonight. So we'll do, we'll do another night of that. We got more content coming down the pike. We got some major things, like I said before in other videos, that we're trying to work out. We're trying to work out the merch line and all of that. We're trying to figure out design. If you're good with design in a merch line, t-shirts, whatever, let me know. Put it in the chat down below and we'll do something. It's not easier. It's not that easy as I thought it would be. So there's a lot of things behind the scenes that I got to do to get these things taken care of, and it's not easy. So I'll keep you guys updated on our merch line. I'll keep you guys updated on everything that's going to happen with this podcast in the near future. It is what it is, I guess. Well, with that said, I'm your host, Jay. Thank you guys so much for joining this podcast tonight. I do very much appreciate it. Thanks for all the comments, everybody chiming in here, asking questions, doing this, doing that. I do appreciate it. I see you, I hear you, and I do care. If you guys want to drop a personal message besides here on YouTube, then drop me an email right now at voicesfrominsideout@gmail.com. Again, my email to contact me is voicesfrominsideout@gmail.com. Got some major things coming down the pike, and I want you guys to be part of it. So buckle up. The ride here from Inside Out is going to be very interesting. Stay tuned, everybody.